shock Nigerians, releases documents exposing dark secrets about election that brought Tinubu to power. See the report. The 2023 elections in Nigeria were subject to scrutiny and critique in a country report on human rights practices released by the U.S. Department of State. While the report acknowledged that the elections generally reflected the will of the voters, it also pointed out numerous irregularities and challenges that marred the electoral process. One of the major concerns highlighted in the report was voter suppression. It cited instances where voters were intimidated or prevented from exercising their right to vote, particularly in certain regions. For example, during the state election in Lagos on March 18, supporters of the All Progressive Congress were reported to have intimidated voters in Igbo-dominated areas, which had previously supported the Labour Party presidential candidate, Peter Obi, in the national election. Videos circulating on social media showed APC supporters threatening ethnic Igbo voters in Ojo, while in Etiosa they reportedly attacked journalists and obstructed non-Yoruba voters from accessing polling stations. Such incidents raised serious concerns about the integrity of the electoral process and the freedom of citizens to participate in elections without fear of intimidation or coercion. Another issue highlighted in the report was vote buying, which undermines the fairness and credibility of elections. Despite efforts to combat this practice, reports of vote buying persisted during the 2023 elections. This not only undermines the principle of free and fair elections, but also erodes public trust in the electoral process. In addition to voter suppression and vote buying, the report also raised concerns about violence and intimidation during the elections. There were reports of physical attacks on voters, journalists, and opposition supporters, as well as instances of property destruction and disruptions at polling stations. Despite the presence of security personnel, there were allegations that they failed to respond effectively to incidents of violence, raising questions about their impartiality and ability to maintain law and order during elections. Furthermore, the report highlighted the underrepresentation of women and marginalized groups in Nigerian politics. Despite making up roughly half of the population, women continue to be significantly underrepresented in elected and appointed positions. The report noted that the national average of women's political participation in Nigeria was only 6.7%, citing religious, cultural, and economic barriers as contributing factors. Additionally, women politicians faced various forms of discrimination and gender-based violence during the elections, including blackmailing and media smear campaigns. Media outlets were also implicated in perpetuating stereotypes about women politicians, further marginalizing them in the political arena. The findings of the U.S. Department of State report underscored the need for Nigeria to address these challenges and strengthen its electoral process. This includes taking concrete steps to combat voter suppression, vote buying, and electoral violence, as well as promoting gender equality and inclusivity in politics. Nigeria authorities must also ensure that security personnel are adequately trained and equipped to maintain law and order during elections, and that perpetrators of electoral offences are held accountable for their actions. In response to the report, Nigerian authorities should work closely with civil society organizations, electoral observers, and other stakeholders to implement reforms and enhance the transparency, integrity, and inclusivity of the electoral process. This may include reviewing and amending electoral laws, strengthening electoral institutions, and investing in voter education and awareness campaigns. Ultimately, these efforts are essential for building public confidence in the electoral process and safeguarding democracy in Nigeria. This is the news for today. Don't forget to like this video, comment under this video, and subscribe to this channel for more news like this.